Hi everyone, I'm Tara. Today we're going to do the peak pose of Ardha Chandrasana, half moon. And I'm demonstrating layering postures for this pose. So the peak action that I will be focusing on is the abduction of the hips, or the activation of the outer hip to hold the top leg up. The layering postures that I will guide you through are tabletop, by lifting one leg up at a time. The next one will be lying on the side, on our side, to elevate the top leg. I'll demonstrate. Not really a yoga pose, but it mimics that top leg action and the activation of the outer hips. The next pose, we will activate the outer hips in chair pose and just feel the sensation in those outer hips and the activation. Next, we will move to Warrior Two, where the back leg is both extended and abducted. Just like in Ardha Chandrasana. Next, we will do an abduction of the hip in a movement towards tree pose. So lifting the leg and then abducting the hip to the side. And finally, we will end with half moon, Ardha Chandrasana, using blocks. So make sure you have blocks, bring your blocks to the top of your mat to start. And we'll start in tabletop position. So place your hands under your shoulders, and this time place your knees together. So your knees are pressing together in the center of the mat. Keep your back flat, so draw your belly button up towards your spine. And on the inhale, I'd like you to lift your right foot up, trying to flex the foot as you lift it up. Exhale, lower that knee down to the ground. Inhale, lift your left foot up. So it's like a cactus leg. Exhale, lower it down. Inhale, lift your right, flex the foot. Exhale, lower down to center. Inhale, lift the left. Hold. Exhale, lower down. We'll practice this 3 or 4 more times. Okay, and just for point of demonstration, this is to show the activation or abduction of the outer hip muscles. Okay, so that is the first pose that we will be working on. The next pose, I would like you to lie on your side. I'd like you to place your forearm perpendicular to the top edge of the mat. So we're up a little bit. It makes this pose a little more stable. Now stack your hips one on top of the other. Flex your feet. Place your top hand in front of you for balance. And inhale, lift your top leg up. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. This time, place your hand on that outer abductor muscle, outer hip muscle, and feel the engagement as you lift the leg up. Lower, one more time. Inhale, lift, and exhale, lower. Now we'll practice on the other side. So roll over onto your other side. I will change direction so I'm not facing my back to you. So this time your left arm is perpendicular to the top of the mat. Your feet are flexed and your right hand is in front. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Point your toes straight ahead in a flex position. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Now place your hand on your top hip just to feel that engagement in the movement. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. One more time. Inhale, lift. Hold, and exhale, lower. Wonderful. Now come onto your back. Lie on your back just for a moment. Bring your knees to your chest and rock and roll until you're in a seated position. Cross your feet and lean forward and come into a forward fold Uttanasana position. Release your head, neck, and chest down. Breathe here, 2 deep and full breaths. Inhale deeply. Exhale fully. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, plant your hands on the blocks in front of you or the floor and come into half forward fold, Ardha Chandrasana. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, place your hands on your hips, draw your elbows up and stand all the way up with a flat back. Good, the next pose we'll practice is chair pose. So inhale, sit back into your heels, sink your hips back down, reach up and then bring your hands to prayer position. Now, push your heels into the floor, pressing down isometrically, down and out through your heels, all the way from your buttocks muscles. And you'll feel your outer hip muscles firing up. These are your abductors. You're feeling the activation of your abductors. Push and hold, breathe through it. Inhale deeply. Exhale fully. Inhale one more time. And exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana, forward fold. Hands down, hips up. Inhale, Ardha Chandrasana, look up. Now plant your hands in front of you and step your left foot back. Plant your left heel down so that your left foot is parallel to the short edge of the back of the mat. We're preparing our legs for Warrior Two. Rise up into Warrior Two pose. Press into your heels. Look at your back foot for a moment. And then imagine that same engagement in that lying lifted leg pose here in the outer hip muscle. So press into that back foot, the left foot, and press into the front heel and hold for 3, 2, and 1. Windmill your hands around your front foot, step back into plank, and slowly lower chaturanga. Inhale, curl up to cobra. Exhale, transition to downward facing dog. Inhale now and step your left foot forward. I'm going to just change positions. Drop your right heel down and prepare your legs for Warrior Two. Line up the heel of your front foot with the arch of your back and come to Warrior Two position. Good. Push into your front heel. Open up your back leg. And try to feel that engagement of your outer right hip this time by pushing into the inner aspect of your right foot. Good. And feeling the engagement of that outer right hip. And hold here for 3, 2, and 1. Windmill your hands around your front foot, step back into plank, and slowly lower chaturanga. Inhale, curl up to cobra. Exhale, come into downward facing dog. Hold downward dog for 2 breaths. Inhale deeply. Exhale fully. Inhale completely. Exhale completely. Inhale, lift your heels up and step or hop to the top of your mat. Half forward fold, look up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. And inhale, press into your feet, root down to rise up, lift up, look up. And stand to face the front of your mat. Now we'll practice a variation of getting into tree pose. So lift and spread the toes of your left foot first. Draw your right knee up. You can either hold the knee or you can hold the knee just using your muscles, your hip flexors. Okay, now what we're going to do is put your hand on the outer side of your front leg and open your leg out and hold and draw it back to the center. And open it out, hold, draw it back to the center. And let's change sides. Root into your right foot, lift your left knee up, either hold it with your hand or with the muscle engagement. Place your hand on the outside of the left leg and open, engaging those outer hip muscles. Draw in, open, draw in, one more time, open, and release. We can practice now here, tree pose. So we would hold this for a minute. feeling the engagement of the outer hip muscles. So opening that leg out, opening your hips out. Good, and we'll hold this for a full minute and then release. And let's practice on the other side. So draw your foot up towards the top of your leg. Open this hip out, engaging those outer hip muscles, and lift your hands overhead. Holding for a minute. And release. Beautiful. Okay, now it's time to practice Ardha Chandrasana, half moon pose. So let's start with, again, the warrior 2 feet, except this time we'll come into high lunge. So lift that back heel up. So high lunge on the right side to begin with. Lean forward and grab your blocks and place them under your shoulders. Lift your back heel up, your left heel up, and then push into the right hand, which is diagonally just outside of your right foot, straight under your right shoulders, and stack your hips. Now lift that heel a little higher by engaging those outer hip muscles. Good, holding here. Perhaps float that top hand up, lift a little higher. Feel the engagement of those abductors, outer hip muscles. Good, hold. Beautiful. Now look at the floor. Drop your left hand down and come into a squat position just for a minute, and we'll transfer to the other side. So in that, you felt the outer hip muscles light up as you lifted that leg a little higher than you might normally do. Let's switch our blocks to the other side. You can keep yours where they are. I just don't want to show my back. Okay, so slowly stand up. And let's do left side lunge. So high lunge, back heel up. Reach for your blocks and just place your left hand slightly to outside, diagonally from your front left foot. Lift your back heel up. Square your hips to the floor and then stack your hips, one on top of the other. Lift that top leg up a little higher than you normally would. You can feel the engagement by placing your hand on those outer hip muscles and then reaching up. Hold. Perhaps a little higher. 3, 2, and 1. Look at those blocks. Plant your right hand down and come back into Malasana. Very good. And that's the end of the layering postures.